Hello and welcome to an RTE Rugby podcast special. I'm delighted to say I have Munster's Jack O'Donoghue on the line with me. How are you doing, Jack?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us here. It's Thursday afternoon now. I saw how much rugby you played over the last few weeks, and I fully expected not to see your name on the team sheet tomorrow. But you're going to play against Cardiff. I mean, when you're talking about giving players rest and making sure you're set up for the bigger battles ahead, how do you feel about that? Do you just want to keep going when you're in such good form, or do you understand the need that you might be a bit better the week after with a week's rest?
I can see both sides of the story. Certainly for me, I like to keep playing, keep the momentum going, and certainly when you have a good bit of form, to be able to go out and execute certain plays and get a good run out before a big game the following weekend. But I had a rest there a couple of weeks ago, and I felt great coming back from it, and kind of giving me a new lease of life leading into this final block.
What do you put your form down to, Jack? Because you're nominated for a European award. You kind of standout performances in the team that's playing very well. What do you put it down to yourself?
Yeah, I suppose I had a review of last season, and probably during pre-season, I worked really hard on my physical condition and my fitness, and I think that's allowed me to probably play 80 minutes consistently week in, week out, and that allowed me to perform to the best of my ability. But certainly, look, it's something as simple as just getting my routine right, week on week, that I don't leave, I suppose, the old saying, no stone unturned, like that. I know once I've everything ticked off, leading up to a game, that I can go out there with that level of freedom, that I'm not worrying about plays, I'm not worrying about my detail, because I've ticked all those boxes early on the week, and I can go out and perform to the best of my ability. And look, I suppose it's easy to say that when you're playing well, because you just build on each performance and you take massive confidence from each game going into the next, and you almost are hopping off the ground ready to go because you're looking forward to it so much.
And the last time we spoke was actually just after the Castor match in Thomond Park. I think you probably manned the match that day as well. But you were talking about the mental toll that it took, the whole episode in South Africa, the camps being divided up because of the restrictions and all that. It has been a roller coaster season so far. Even in the last month, from the outside, we see a difference in Munster on the field. Peter O'Mahony was talking about not being ideal, not knowing who the head coach is. That's changed now. A couple of very good results. Do you process that as you go along? The roller coaster nature of it. I know Caroline Curd is down there working on it. Are you working on that all the time? The mental side of it, and how to adapt to such an up and down season?
Yeah, look, you're always going to get peaks and troughs in a season. This one was quite a bumpy road. Obviously, as you mentioned, the episode in South Africa being stuck there, and then it's announced that 3 of our coaching staff are leaving at the end of the season, and certainly there's that, but then there's that bit of excitement of I wonder who's going to come in, and you hear a few names being thrown around, and look, absolutely delighted. Graham is coming in as head coach, and still the excitement about the potential of who his background staff is going to be, and what kind of a coaching ticket we're going to have next year. But you can't look that far ahead, and that's something that we spoke about inside in the HVC, that it's this season that matters, and it's this group that is going to do the business. That you can't be waiting. Look, we'll go next year. It's now. It's working on our basics and being able to execute under pressure is something that we've been working on with Caroline, and certainly really tapping into that mental side of things, that when it comes to knockout rugby, the pressure that players are under, but not letting that get the better of them, and still being able to play with a sense of freedom, and to really showcase our skills and our ability, and to be able to put a performance on the field that you're proud of, and you're happy to stand over at the end of the day.
Yeah, and we know about Graham coming in over the last couple of weeks. That was announced. What did he say to you in the dressing room? There's a famous clip from BT Sport. He's firing a rocket at a few lads. Even Johan looks a bit sheepish, looking up. He's surprised. So can you just tell us word for word exactly what he said to you in that little clip, please?
I cannot recall. No, look, like as emotional and as as emotional as he is, I suppose the messaging was very clear. After that, or even that message that he gave, it looks quite, aggressive with his body language. But look, he's incredibly passionate about the club, and we've seen that from the get go. And I think the way he carries himself and the way the players look to him and stuff for guidance and for help, it really shows how liked he is amongst the group and how excited they are for him to come in for next year. But like I said, we all have a job to do this year, and no more than running out tomorrow for Munster against Cardiff.
Very good. And I'll just stay on this just for another little while, and you can give me an exclusive to the RTE Rugby podcast if you think Denis Leamy is coming. So like two blinks for yes and one for no. No, but I'll
just have to stare you out of it.
Yeah, very good. But come here, had you dealings with Denis before when he was with the academy or Munster? And I suppose even you're at the age now that when you were coming up around 10 or 12, he would have been a massive part of Ireland and Munster squads. So maybe just tell me if you have dealings with him first in academy and then maybe your memories of him as a player.
Yeah, he came in, he was forwards coach for the Munster A's for a season, and I would have worked under him there. And look, he was an incredible player, for both Munster and Ireland, and he would have been certainly someone I would have looked up to as a number 8 as well. And to work under him with the A's was incredible, because the type of person he is, he's a friendly giant, but he can certainly give it to you at the same time, when you've gone wrong. Yeah, look, I've seen his name being thrown around. I haven't a clue if he's coming in or not, but I know he's doing a really good job up in Leinster at the moment. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Very good. And actually, I'll just throw this one out here. A couple of years ago, there was talk about Brian O'Driscoll mentioned about the lack of dog in the Irish team, and he mentioned that Denis Leamy was one of those old dogs and warriors. Do you remember that aspect of his game, and do you think that's applicable in the modern game? Because there's so many cameras, there's so much analysis, that some of the stuff that made a dog is probably not doable these days. How do you kind of get that aggression into your game that's needed without overstepping the mark?
Yeah, look, you can always have aggression in your game, but you can always do it within the letter of the law. You have a tackle, you have a carry, you have a breakdown, scrum maul. There's plenty of opportunities where you can physically impose yourself on the opposition, legally. That you don't need to be a dirty player, but there is other ways that you can have a bit of dog in you. It could be that it's a 50-50 ball, and you've no doubt that you're winning that. That's dog in you. Yeah. That's easy to bring into your game, and it's all about your want and how hungry are you for the ball or for the possession, and being able to bring that into your game. By all means, it's legal and it's not no way it's dirty, but it's just that's a bit of dog in you.
Yeah. And there's been a hot topic of the last couple of weeks or last couple of months. There's so many yellow cards and red cards for high tackles. I know that you say we're working on it and everyone's working on their contact work, but why would you say we still see so many yellow and red cards when the players know the risk involved? Is it an instinct thing to be standing up, because it happens very quickly, we acknowledge that, but also the risk is that you will leave your team down to 14 men, or you could get sent off. Why would you think we're seeing so much of it still when everyone knows the risks?
Well, you see, I suppose it's player welfare at the end of the day. World Rugby have to be looking out for the players, and you're trying to minimise head contacts, absolutely. And look, a lot of incidents do just happen in a split second, and they're something that it is something you could be watching a ball, and all of a sudden, as soon as your eyes meet, that someone has made contact with you, and yeah, look, some are you could say harsh or a tough call, but at the end of the day, it's about player welfare. It's quite a hot topic at the moment, and I suppose we won't get into it, but it is trying to prolong people's careers at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I might just finish off now with you obviously have a big Heineken Champions Cup match coming up in a couple of weeks' time, and we have seen Munster over the last 10 or 15 years comfortably get to the knockout stages, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and then just coming up against a team. And I guess there was a sense of frustration from the players and management after those semi-finals against Saracens or Racing or whoever, that Munster didn't give their best on the day, that they weren't within a shot on a Pro 14 final against Leinster a couple of years. What do you see in Munster that would make you confident that you will get closer or get over the line against Toulouse?
I think we're certainly playing a more expansive game plan. You've seen us potentially scoring tries from our own half. And look, when the weather allows us, it's easy because we have more confidence in our skills and in our ability. But certainly, look, the work we're doing with Caroline around that mental, about the, not letting the pressure of a big occasion get to you, that's something that'll be new to us this season, and we'll have in our back pocket when it comes to knockout rugby, and the quarterfinal will be the first test of that.
Very good. And it's obviously up in the Aviva because the Thomond Park is unavailable. Do you get free tickets to Ed Sheeran on the Thursday and the Friday, Jack?
No, we don't. No, but we get an option to buy a few.
You get an option to buy a few. And will you be going to either of those concerts?
Well, I don't know. I would only make the Thursday, hopefully.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I was at him in Páirc Uí Chaoimh there a couple of years ago, so right. I've seen him. But by all accounts, I've heard good reviews from his concert so far up in Dublin. That's been a good spectacle.
Very good. And it's a pity then obviously it's not in Thomond. I know there's big ticket sales for the Aviva, but I mean, how do you think that you can bring the force up there? I know it's away from home as well, but how do you think you can turn that into your advantage?
I think, look, by the ticket sales already shows that the supporters are willing to travel, and credit to Munster, they're putting on buses going from the back arse of Munster, and I heard Gavin Coombs requesting a bus for his family from Skibbereen to go up to the game. He's looking for free of charge probably, but yeah, look, I think the followings that we have are incredible. Saw that over in Exeter, and look, a trip up the M7 up to Dublin be perfect for us, and to be able to pack out Aviva Stadium and the atmosphere that will be there, it'll be incredible, and I'm really looking forward to it.
That's brilliant. Listen, Jack, thanks very much for joining us on the RTE Rugby podcast. Best of luck tomorrow, and best of luck for the following week as well.
Cheers. Thanks, Mike.